Dios,
si el Espíritu de Dios
se mueve en mí, yo canto como David. You'll get it, it's very repetitive. Please stand and stretch and join in singing. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí,
Yo canto como David.
si el
Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo canto como David. Yo canto, yo canto, yo canto como David. Yo canto, yo canto, yo canto como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo canto como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo alabo como David. Yo alabo, yo alabo, yo alabo como David. Yo alabo, yo alabo, yo alabo como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo oro como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo oro como David. Yo oro, yo oro, yo oro como David. Yo oro, yo oro, yo oro como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo salto como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo salto como David. Yo salto, yo salto, yo salto como David. Yo salto, yo salto, yo salto como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo danzo como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo danzo como David. Yo danzo, yo danzo, yo danzo como David. Yo danzo, yo danzo, yo danzo como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo río como David. ¡Ja, ja! Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo río como David. ¡Ja, ja! Yo río, yo río, yo río como David. ¡Ja, ja! Yo río, yo río, yo río como David. ¡Ja, ja!
Hello, my name is Jim Kirkwood. I'm a volunteer with Africa Funds. Diana Madden, you say, is also a volunteer. There are others here. Better? Africa Funds, that's the commercial. I worked with Hugh when he was in the Observer and I was on the Africa desk. And one of the things we worked on was the liberation struggle in southern Africa. He was always involved in a liberation struggle somewhere. And one of my tasks was to plan a trip for him into southern Africa so that he could interview the leaders of the African National Congress and SWAPO from Namibia. And I thought I was clever. I routed him through Swaziland. I thought he would get into South Africa easier coming from there than if he was coming from Toronto or somewhere directly. I think I was right, but he was carrying with him some magazines and doing his background homework on the African National Congress. And when they went through his luggage, they found these magazines, and he spent some long time in the airport to find he was released about midnight, having missed his flight, of course, and he never quite forgave me, or at least stopped teasing me about not being a very good tour organizer. To speak about Hugh in Africa in just a very few minutes, we have some messages from Africa. and we're going to just read them to you. I begin with just a sentence from his friend Michael Lashley, his friend and brother. In his message, he said, "I have no doubt that other speakers will pay tribute to Hugh's extraordinary contribution as an advocate for Africa and all her people. Dare I suggest that it was in Africa that Hugh was most fully alive." Having heard folks from the First Nations and from the Central American perspective, it's obvious that he was very alive wherever he went. So here are a few messages from Africa. Diana and I will share them quite briefly with you. The first is from Jose and Ella Chipenda. Chipenda was the General Secretary of the All Africa Conference of Churches in Nairobi when he was working there as the head of their information department. We liked him as a person, as a friend, and as a colleague and a professional journalist. Our lives were enriched every time we met and exchanged views and ideas. As head of the AACC communication, he made us proud. Hugh was a talented kingmaker and a genuine voice of the voiceless. A message also from Sam Kobia, the General Secretary of the World Council of Churches, a Kenyan himself. And there is a representative from the World Council here tonight, too. He made this comment on his long-standing involvement with the ecumenical movement. As a skillful author and editor, a committed journalist, and passionate advocate for justice grounded in Christian faith, Hugh McCullum greatly contributed to the witness of the Canadian churches and the broader ecumenical movement. We Africans owe him a huge debt of love, as he generously devoted many years of his life and work to the betterment of our continent. We will certainly miss his insights and energy. His memory will continue to warm the hearts of those of us who had the privilege to enjoy his friendship. Recalling his life, faith, and service, we give thanks to God. And quite a short message from a Zimbabwean who's here in Toronto, John Mutumbirwa, who also has worked with Africa Files. Quite cryptic. Quite shocked yesterday when someone informed me about last Tuesday's passing away of Hugh McCullum. What a great loss. He was one of those indefatigable social warriors who never said can't. That's C-I-N''T. You have to know that. To a dedicated search for and the promotion of justice on both the spiritual and the secular plane. But at the same time, peremptorily turned his back on any hypocritical cant.